I am still recovering from a food coma, and now it's time to drink a whole bunch of alcohol.
I just said, yes, man, right away, anything.
All right, so I've mentioned that we're gonna do a tasting of this or a tasting of that in months down the road, and now it's time to do all of these tastings. So we're gonna rush 2 of them because they're already kind of cool, at least from the smell. All right, so on our tasting flight today, I'm gonna taste the week-and-a-half-old Crumpkin with a cinnamon stick in it. This is the Tepache rum, already smells amazing. Plum Rakia, made 13 months ago. Apple Whiskey, made 12 months ago. This is apple whiskey, aged in a 1030 barrel. And then the red, white, and blue whiskey, also aged in a 1030 barrel. Let's get drinking. So I'm gonna make a playlist of all of these different alcohols, and I'll just put that right up here. So if I reference something that you wanna try to make yourself, just check out that playlist. First things first, we're gonna do a little shot of the Crumpkin. It's actually dynamite. It still has that kind of cranberry and pumpkin thing, but the cinnamon sitting in it makes it taste more like a pie. So we might be onto something here. That's pretty cool. If you want to make this, definitely just throw a cinnamon stick in there and let it sit for about a week. And now I think we're done, because the thing about cinnamon, if you leave it too long, it starts to go bitter. So just about a week, give it a little color. Now if you want to throw it on some oak or something like that, that'll work fine. For the Tepache rum, this one's still at 54%, and that's okay with me. This is gonna need probably at least 6 months on this stave, just because it's taking a really long time. Since this is a spent stave, it's already been in the red, white, and blue whiskey for 6 months and lost a ton of its flavor and color. But the cool thing is it's already contributing a lot of flavor, because I'm getting vanilla out of nowhere. There wasn't vanilla, but I still have the strong pineapple and the funk and a little bit of that sugar. So you're still getting that Tepache funk and the very good hit of pineapple. We'll probably try this one again in like 6 months once it's had a chance to fully age on this oak. Now the one that's probably tested my patience the most, and that's the Plum Rakia. If you haven't seen the video for this one, I highly recommend you check it out up in the playlist up there, because this stuff is just dynamite. It's got so much flavor and character in the aroma. When I first got it back from the Liquor Fairy and it went into the jar, it was like plum candy. It was almost artificial smelling. And now it's still 52%. It's so fruity. It's just crazy how fruity it is. But the aroma and the flavor have matured. So now, instead of being kind of an artificial plum, it smells like fresh plums. Yeah, that's ready to proof down. I got advice from Nevin Vorkapic, who is a professional distiller of Plum Rakia over in Croatia. One of the things he said was leave this on glass, undiluted, unproofed down, for several months, and that's going to help the flavor really mature. Then you dilute it down to drinking strength and let it sit for a little bit longer. They don't generally age this stuff on wood because it just gets consumed, you know, throughout the year when they make it. Damn. So it's like biting into a fresh plum, but also there's some stewed plums in the flavor profile, a little touch of star anise, and just a big amount of implied sweetness to this. It's really crazy, and a little bit of astringency across the tongue and on the sides of the tongue. Having made this myself and tasting this after it's had the right amount of time to mature, I understand why they make this stuff every year. It's freaking delicious. God, it smells amazing. I am so pissed off that there's not smell-o-vision, because, man, you guys would love this. Next step for this one is it's gonna get proofed down to about 42, and then it'll sit for a week or two, and then I'm just gonna enjoy it until it's time to make Plum Rakia again. So right now we're gonna taste the apple whiskey that sat on a charred white oak stave for about 6 months, and then I took it out so it wouldn't over oak. If you're not familiar, apple whiskey is cider and whiskey mash fermented together. Oh my God. Caramel, vanilla, apple, some malt in there. Oh my God. This is 51%. This is one of the smoothest oaked products I've ever tasted. The mouthfeel is soft. There's no burn to it whatsoever. The flavor is vanilla and caramel and apple and malted barley. There's so much barrel candy to this. It's crazy. The oak really did a great number on this one. You're getting some tannin. You're getting a little bit of tobacco. Like pipe tobacco. One more time, I am really sad that there is not smell-o-vision yet, because holy Lord, this is good. Now all we got to do is taste these guys. So if you've never used barrels like this, it's a steel container, and you can kind of see there's a bit of a swell in the metal here, and that's actually where this barrel head has been press fit in there so that it's not going to come out and it's not going to leak. These are 1030 barrels. They are based on the design from Bad Motivator. These will hold about a standard bottle of whiskey, about 750, 850 mils. And the Bad Motivator ones that I have not used yet because they're so big, those hold 2 gallons. And my Liquor Fairy doesn't work in those volumes yet. But they both age pretty much the same. When you age something like this in a jar with a stave, you got about 6 months to get a really excellent product. These are so much better than aging in one of those mini barrels that you might get on Amazon. I did a video series early on my channel on a 2-liter barrel, all wood, and it ages really fast, and the product that you get it's okay. But honestly, these are even better. To me, I'd rather do this or this than an all-wood barrel, unless I had something that was like 5 or 10 gallons. But these age very slowly at about the same pace as a 53-gallon barrel that you would see in a distillery warehouse. And the reason is the surface area to volume ratio is pretty close. So when you age stuff in one of these guys, it's going to be at least a year before it hits the maturity level that you're looking for. But, it may be 2, it may be 4. So it just kind of depends on the magic and alchemy that is true barrel aging. So let me see if I can not spill all of this. I like these 1030 barrels because they're small enough for a smaller amount to be stored and aged. What I don't like about them is that there's no spigot. So if you want to sample one of these, probably use an eyedropper and don't try and pour it out like I did, because that was dumb. So again, this is the apple whiskey. And you can see there's a vast difference in the color of this, which has been aged for a full year, and this, which was aged for about 6 months. I'm still getting a massive kind of caramel and cooked sugar, not brown sugar, but cooked sugar. Nice brighter note of apple, I think. And a little more of a biscuity kind of thing going on with the apple pie, with the, makes me think of apple pie, with the barley. Wow, that is even smoother than this one. And I thought this one was crazy smooth. So that oxygen transfer, even though this one's not as dark, it's not as in your face with the flavors as this one, to me the wood character is more subtle. Like, remember I said this had a little bit of a tobacco note to it? This one does too, but it's way in the back. The oak tannin is still there, but it's also more subdued. But what's right up front is that vanilla, the caramel, and then the actual ingredients of the mash. So I highly recommend that you make the apple whiskey. How you age it, you're still gonna get a fantastic product. Whether it's this or Bad Motivator, you're going to get a more mature version. And so being able to taste these side by side, I think was really valuable. I will always age in jars because it's easier, it's cheaper, and it's faster. But if you want to do some long-term aging stuff, get some of these because you get that oxygen transfer. So rather than pour a sample of my next one like a ding dong and spill it everywhere, let's use an eyedropper. Ooh, this one's really light. Oh, that's why. So it's the red, white, and blue whiskey in one of these 1030 barrels, but this barrel head is a wine barrel head. It was previously used to age red wine. So it's gonna take even longer because just like the Tepache using a spent stave in there, this is gonna take a lot longer. If you're getting a spent barrel head from a winery, it's gonna take longer to get the flavors and the color that you want. That just means you got to be a little bit more patient and stick it in the back of a cupboard in your garage and forget about it. I would recommend every month or so going and giving your barrels a quarter of a turn. Keeps the air bubble in a different spot on the wood so it doesn't have a chance to dry out. Oh yeah, totally different character. The red, white, and blue whiskey that I had aging in a jar with a stave was basically a fantastic bourbon. Just tasted like a great bourbon. This one, it still has a long way to go in the aging, but the character of the wine is infiltrating that and kind of really giving you a totally different product. That's why aging is magic. Depending on what you put in your jar or what your barrel's made of, you can have the exact same thing and get completely different results. All right. I've had like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've had 5 shots already, so. That's really good too. But it's very young. It tastes like we're on year 1 of 5. Would I serve it right now? No, because it's indeterminate what it tastes like because you're getting a kind of a fruit character from the wine. Is one of the more forward flavors. The corn is kind of off to the side. It's a little more challenging to pick out the notes from the oak itself, like tannin, tobacco, the different barrel candy flavors, dark fruits, stuff like that. It's like it's only been in there for a month or two, when this has been sitting for a solid year. So that's one that's gonna have to sit in the back of my cabinet for a long time. And I'm okay with that. When you're doing stuff like this, once you get a little bit of practice under your belt, you can tell after that first tasting if things are going wrong. These are going right. The apple whiskey that's in this barrel is gonna sit for at least 1 more year, and then I think it's gonna be perfect. And the red, white, and blue, probably another 4 years, so stay tuned for that. Before we go, I just wanna say happy holidays to everybody, and thank you so much for watching my channel. And I just wanna thank all of my Patreons. Everybody right down here and all of my Patreons that aren't listed here, thank you guys so much. I am absolutely grateful for your help, your support, and all of your advice and ideas. One of you guys actually just info dumped me a massive list of ideas. There's some real gold in there. So my point is all of you guys are invaluable to me for your insight, and I'm absolutely grateful. So happy holidays, and thank you so much. You are definitely keeping my lights on. All right, that's it for this video. So do me a favor and hit the like button if you enjoyed it. And I'm gonna have another video coming out before the end of the month. So if you aren't subscribed, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and the little bell icon right next to it so you can get notified when I post new content. If you have any questions about any of the different recipes that I did or any of your own experiences with jars versus barrels, go ahead and post those down in the comment section down below. All right, thanks for watching. Talk at you later. I'm still full from Thanksgiving, but I should probably eat something before I try to edit this video on my computer. I'm a little lightheaded and a little sweaty for some reason.